Okay, so we're back in the shop with the Vapor Honing Technologies Vapor Blast Cabinet, and I want to start today's presentation off with a little bit of talk about what a vapor honing cabinet is not, because we've been talking about how incredible this machine is, and I only learned through my process to manage my expectations of what the machine is. What the vapor honing cabinet is not, it is not a dip tank. You should not expect to put greasy, shitty old parts into that tank and have them come out looking like this. It is also not a paint stripping tank. You should do your due diligence to remove the paint, whether you do it with a chemical stripper like aircraft stripper, or if you're going to put it through a bead blasting cabinet before it actually enters the Vapor Honing Technologies cabinet. Now, there's a couple reasons why. One of the biggest things is this is not a tool where you can change media super fast. So if you want to go from a really coarse media down to something that's going to get finishes like this here, it's a lengthy process. So with that in mind, we're using a fine media. We want this to be the last step. So we want to go from, you know, the traditional soap and water and degreaser over to the parts wash tank, wash it again, take it into the sandblast cabinet or the bead blast cabinet, bead blast it down till you get to this finish, soap and water again, bring it over to the vapor blasting cabinet and look for our finished product out of that.
That all boils down to saving media, not ruining the media, or your closed loop system will skim off the debris, they like to call it, the dirt. So if you put something in there real dirty, you're going to use up media, you're going to kind of spoil the media. The nicer these are when you go in, the faster you're going to do them in the vapor home.
Yeah. So a big question everybody's going to ask then is this something that I really need? Depends on what you want to achieve. You know, for a restorative finish, you know, that the guys out there, you're doing your old panheads and knuckles and stuff, the old British bikes, you want to get to a restored finish of the material, absolutely. Chopper guys and custom guys, you want to take it that one more step. You can see right here, these are the difference between the finishes. This is a bead blast finish. You can see it's still dry and porous. Coming out of the vapor honing cabinet, you can see that it's almost polished. I mean, it's really
it's a slick finish that we were concerned about. When something's this nice, your mechanic has greasy fingers, he's going to leave a print on it. But unlike a bead blast finish, there is a big difference. All you're going to do is feel it, and I'm sure these are going to clean up nicely when your mechanic's finished. This really shows the difference. When we put the first head in with nothing else cleaned, we said, well, what's happening? You know, well, we finished this head and put it next to this head.
And I mean, even in the brass components that were left in the head, it polishes that brass right up and everything. You guys can see the kind of finished results we're getting from this. These have both been done, but we're gonna kind of push it a little bit and, like, you know, what would happen if we just put this whole thing in as it sits and see the kind of result we get from that. So here we go.
That's going to make it easy to move around, too. that's staying back. That's for sure.
Let's see how we look here. Look at that. Just so nice. And our transmission, this was a test that we did of putting the whole transmission right in. You know, just pulled this out of the bike, cleaned it up. You know, I sat with a little stainless steel brush and removed all the debris, put it in that cabinet, and it comes out like this. And we made the joke that you could get extra $200 at the swap meet for this, just by running through that machine. But it's true, it's nice. And, you know, really from a mechanic standpoint, if you want to work on something, even taking that little bit of time to clean it up, put it through there, and now put this on your bench, take it apart, you're starting with something that's not such a pain in the ass to work with.
Your mechanic will love you, even if you don't do your own mechanical work. The mechanic is going to be real happy. I'll bet you get a better price when it's all done.
So let's talk about the process that you went through, because you actually set this up. The last time we were here, we did an out of the box real quick and said, okay, we're going to come back and take us through a little bit of the setup, what it was and what the different components are, and we'll get over there and show some of
Yeah,
this.
the Vapor Hone company has a wonderful website, and it shows a fellow taking one of these out of the crate, the exact model. And once we watched that, it was just a few minutes. It was really easy, you know. And of course, we incorporated the closed loop system. We've kept it on the pallet right now so we can move it around the shops. And we moved it off the side a little so everything will fit on the pallet. So with 110 volts and an air hose, you're in business. It's incredible.
So you were saying with that closed loop system, there's two hoppers, and obviously the one that's at the bottom of the cabinet. The main media falls into the bottom of the cabinet,
Yes.
but then that closed loop system, the water drains off to the top hopper first,
Yeah.
and that's where it gets that ability to skim off any of the debris from.
Which you'll see little lightweight debris floating on top, and that's actually dirt you blast it off. If there was much to it, you could skim it off with a little skimmer, but we've done all this stuff and it's still really clean. You really don't have to add water to the system other than for a little bit of evaporation. Say it sits in the shop for a week, you might evaporate a little off the top tank, but it just doesn't go anywhere. If you had a big shop and you're using these machines 8 hours a day, you'd probably plumb it into water and then have it drain somewhere. But for the small shop, the stores, the custom builders, this is just right. You leave it on that skid, move it around, and it's incredible to use. Chris and I are both used to a bead blaster, and one thing is you can see what you're doing.
Man, I'll tell you
It's
what.
like crystal clear because you got a windshield wiper and you're working with water, and you can see everything, and it's neat and clean.
And it doubles as a flow bench.
Yeah, Chris stuck the hose in here and he flowed the head. This huge cabinet is timing circuits for the windshield wiper and for how long this stays on or how long the little pump stays on for your rinse cycle. These are real clear in the book, but you really don't have to touch them. I mean, everything's just right. It's an incredible piece of equipment. The workmanship and the building of it is really incredible. This just vents off. It's no water, no debris. This is an atmospheric vent. When you open the door, water and debris will drip off the door right into there, and then it's returned to the tank. One thing you want to remember when you get one new, and this is very important, water first in the hopper. And the instructions will tell you to fill it up to a certain level. They'll show you real clearly where this one drain comes out. Water first, okay? Then dump in your 25 pounds of medium, okay? And then it will mix clear. If you dump the medium first, bone dry, and then you dump the water in, you'd probably have a time of waiting to get the sludge to move. So water first, always, whether you change it or it's brand new. You're looking for that originality. Old British bikes, old Indians, old Harleys. You know, this is as probably close to what they looked like when they were new.
Well, I'm really excited too on the custom side of things, because I can't tell you how many times, just like you said, I've gone through the whole process of cleaning some of these perfectly with a bead blaster as nice as I could, and then in the process of putting them together, it's, you know, they get a little junked up from fingerprints and stuff, and then by the time you're a couple months into riding this motorcycle, it doesn't. I'm really excited to see how this weathers, if it weathers the way that it did from the factory, you know. So it'll be additional reports as we go on here, and it's important to say this has still only been one media. This is a fine media.
Yes.
So it's only this one media that we're working with so far.
We're using a 170, 235 glass media, and it's really fine. When we opened the box, we were kind of surprised. It was almost like talcum powder. So we're just using that fine one. Once we learn about the other grades, perhaps there's a faster or different finish or whatever. But this is really clean, really nice. And to do a transmission that's assembled, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this transmission other than cosmetics. And plugged up everything, drained it, and set it in there and look at it. You know, that just saved hours and hours of work.
Until next time, this is Chris and Ed.
And Ed.
From Grease and Gears Garage, and get out in the shop and do something. We'll see you
be
next
back.
time.